Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daily High with your host, Matt McGregor and Tone Vase. Good morning, Tone. How are you? Happy Monday.
Morning, morning. I'm good. I'm back in Panama after some good times down in Miami. And yeah, markets are a little jittery this morning, so let's just go straight to the charts.
Yeah, Tone's internet sucks, but it wouldn't be a Daily High show without some kind of controversy on the tech department. So we'll see if we can get through this. Look, I am very interested to see and very interested to hear your opinion on the market right now. I'm going to go through mine quickly. I'm going to start at the 15-minute time frame. Why? Because I am currently in a trade and I'm interested to see how that looks. So, look, I'm long from 99.364 for the anyone who watches the Daily High on a regular basis will know exactly why I entered that trade. I don't have many tricks up my sleeve, but one of them is just this: a low and then a consolidation, a higher low, and then a breakout point. That's a puntable trade for me. I'll make it 9 times out of 10 if I'm awake. Particularly if we have had a significant uh, crash, right? So or crash or correction or whatnot. I'll have to go to the higher time frames. I don't want to look at this. Oh my Lord, come on. Two fingers. All right. So let's get past the 15-minute time frame. I'm happy with this trade right now. But I think it's in like 15, 20%, something like that. But it's leveraged. But we'll see what happens as this day goes on. All eyes on US markets. So I'm going to move up the time frames to see if we have anything. I think only the 15, when you're in a real consolidated range and you're struggling to find reason in the market, the 15-minute, the 4 hour, the daily can seem very choppy. So like the old adage is like zoom out, what is it, when in doubt, zoom out, right? So you look at the monthly, weekly to get some perspective on the market. And often you can see a lot more. But it's ironically when things have crashed and things are in a really fast market, I go the opposite way where I start at the lower time frames because the recoveries always have to happen in sequence as well. So like the 15-minute will go bullish, 4 hour, then 12 hour daily, 3 day, weekly, monthly, like that. So that it'll happen in the opposite angle. So that it's a very, very interesting point for me that if the market's crashing, I got to look for a lower time frame to get some perspective. 4 hour, absolutely. An alphanumerics links in the description below for 30% off. This is what alphanumerics was built for, getting a green diamond inside a green wave. That happens rarely. The green wave indicates a macro bullish market, and then a throwback inside below the 200 moving average with a green diamond. This you don't get many of them. They seldom come. But they're something to take notice of, especially the first one. You typically get at least a re-entry, a green diamond, and then a response thereafter. Now we have come back up and retouched the 7, and we're below it now. This would be even if I push that out to the 30 simple moving average, which is sitting right now, and a combination of the 30 and the 50. Let's split the difference. 104 is very, very dangerous for me because even if we were to spike up to 104, I would see that as very, very troublesome because that was the point where we broke down. So a throwback to the breakdown point, which would just beautifully marry the 30 and 50 simple moving averages on the 4 hour. A lot of maybe bots and a lot of really, really sophisticated investors will be shorting there because it's so easy to set a stop loss. Do you know what I mean? Like you could short the market big time at 104 with a stop loss, above your 105. Very, very easy trading. So we're nowhere near that right now at 101, 102. But even with further upside, we're not out of the woods, unfortunately. It just happens so often that we regain that spot. But as it stands right now, I'm in this trade and we'll move out the time frame. Daily time frame is where we start to get interesting. Yeah, we came back down and got a little bit below the 50 and the 30 on the daily. I really like how this is recovering. Like it's the same point. The seven simple moving average is at 104 as well. So we've got the really nice tie-in between the 4 hour time frame, what we need to get above, and the daily. So if we can close above that 104, like we were looking at on the 4 hour and on the daily, well, we're back above all the moving averages. Fantastic. Great shakeout onwards and upwards. But again, we're talking, it's much to do about nothing because if this fades down and gets below the 30 and the 50 once again, hell, this week could be one of those shows where I'm not spouting bullish sentiment. I'm just talking about my own personal trade. I'll close this trade out just above break even or take some profit on it or whatnot. But if we go back down and get to that area of my entry and below, I'm not bullish at all, guys. I'm terrified. And I need to see what happens with the US stock market. But this could be bad. We can't just think about Bitcoin in isolation. I'll finish the week on the weekly, and wouldn't you know it, where did we come back and retest? Oh, it just came back to exactly the seven simple moving average. So the weekly looks in a totally different zoomed out realm than everything else. We came back and touched on alphanumerics, fast moving, simple moving average, absolutely brilliantly. And now we're recovering from it. So everything I said on the 4 hour and the daily exists right now in real time. I don't want to close below the seven simple moving average, the 30, the 50 on the daily, and everything else I said. This is one of those rare times where the 4 hour, the daily, and the weekly makes perfect sense to me. The last thing I'll look at is the EXA, Socrates' EXA on the weekly. Last week we were looking at this. This had kinked in, and it was near to a cross, but it wasn't. Just the way that it wasn't a bearish cross back here many times. It still hasn't crossed. This is suggesting we're not full blown bullish yet, and I'm not full blown bullish yet. I don't like uh, many things about this market as it stands right now, particularly how the US stock market looks. I think that if we were to crack down below that with the lowest point we got to today, we're in serious strife of getting down to 94. And then at 94, I'm not bullish at all either, because that's too often we've been at these low prices that I'll be starting to really look for a retouch of the 30 simple moving average on the weekly. Now, just like me saying that getting above 104 is extremely bullish and I'm happy, is the same way that I'm saying 80. I don't make predictions. I'm just looking forecasting of what is possible, and I'm just going to play it day by day. In the trade I'm in, and I'm not doing any more than that, but I'm aware of both sides of that the coin that could flip. So we'll see how it goes. I'm coming back to you now, Tone. I'm coming off screen share. Please like and subscribe. Share it with your friends. I think that it's going to be a very interesting week either way. Links in the description below for all the stuff, the good stuff that we have. And Tone, what do you think, mate? Give us some clarity if you can.
Sure. I think I'm a little bit more bullish than you,
Good.
even though you're in a bullish trade.
Yeah, that I can be both. That's the funny thing.
So, am I on screen share?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, the ETFs have been buying up a lot of Bitcoin, and especially in January. Like in January, the ETFs have bought as much Bitcoin as they did in December. And these are large amounts. I mean, they're buying in 1 month what is being mined in a year, in a quarter, sorry, not in a year. And already well, um, in the Q4, more Bitcoin was mined that gets mined in a year. So on average, uh, it's 4x. So it's like a 3 to 4x of how much Bitcoin is being sucked in to the ETFs. And the price is not rising that much. So if we look at last month was a flat month, and this month is slightly up. Now, on a weekly scale, we do have a green star candle, but I don't trust this green star candle because we didn't close higher than the prior candle's top. so far this week, this rebound is looking like a good candle. This candle just needs to close green. If this candle can close green, so anything above, 103, I know it's consolidation, but it becomes very, very bullish. If I look at all my other charts, like the daily, all we did was pull into support. We into the third level of support, and now we're back above all of them. So this is a very nice reversal candle, which has a pretty big volume spike. You can see that it's a green volume spike. You can see that the CMF also turned to the upside. The MACD doesn't look good, but the other metrics don't look that bad. And all we did was pull back to the downward sloping trend line, to the prior horizontal resistance. I mean, the actual resistance, support is closer to 99. I have this line where I initially exited my Bitcoin position after the big bull run. I exited at just under 98. And I said, this is going to be a struggle for a while. And here we are going into February. So, and I exited back in late November. So all of December, all of January, and we're still, flirting with this number where I initially tweeted out that, hey, maybe you want to take some profit because we had a good run and now it's going to struggle for a bit. But this is the perfect area for that final scare. So if this is the final scare, then this is a great pullback on short-term charts. By short-term charts, I mean daily, weekly, and anything sub-daily, right? Like anything other than monthly. So even on a weekly chart, it's a nice little pullback. It allows more consolidation. The 20-period moving average is rising very quickly. And we are, what's the Lucid SAR situation? Okay, so we are in a bullish Lucid SAR situation as well. So to me, this is a nice consolidation. What would make this even better is if we continue to consolidate and reset the MRI and then get a new green star candle sometime in the middle of next month. That would be even better. So I'm not too concerned over this, but, and if we do make it into that 104 area of the breakdown level, which is now resistance, yes, I'll see it as resistance as well. Yes, I will see it as resistance, like Matt just described, but I'm not going to be too scared that this resistance has a high probability of bringing us to new lows. I would see it more as a consolidated resistance to maybe come back down to 102. And then I still think there's a higher probability of going long on this resistance. Can't seem to draw an arrow. I still think that is a high chance. So right now, I am not overly concerned on this initial move. I think it's a combination of, the Trump coin being a useless and a dud. Let me get rid of this. People are realizing that the Trump coin is just another meme coin. Everyone is jumping on the meme bandwagon, and they're going to be grossly disappointed. The latest on the strategic Bitcoin reserve is that it's going to be a shitcoin reserve, and they're going to decide which shitcoins are going to be in the reserve in about 6 months. So just as I expected, there is no Bitcoin reserve coming, at least not for a while. And hopefully in 6 months, something like Ethereum would implode or Solana would implode, and that could lead to one of two things. Either there is no crypto reserve at all because something big imploded, or they're going to come to their senses and realize that Bitcoin is the only useful asset in the entire crypto space. I'm hoping it's the latter, but no one really knows. BlackRock filed for that in-kind redemption, which is good. It's not going to affect the average user, but it's it's a more useful way. It would have been nice if GBTC had that; they wouldn't have been fucked on taxes, but that's okay. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. Solana's going, it was going down over it's a 4-hour chart. Sorry, it's a 4-hour chart. Solana's still going down against Bitcoin, proving that a shitcoin platform to create shitcoins isn't very useful, and not even Trump coin can pump it. So that's kind of where we stand right now. I would like to see us, tackle and consolidate at 104 and then break out. So like I said, I'm not too scared, but if we start to go back to 98, then the bottom could drop out of it. But I do think that the hype is strong, and even without the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, just the ideas that Bitcoin is going to be, you don't have to be scared to be a Bitcoiner in America anymore, is going to go a long way. And the Trump is basically saying, hey, I'm not doing anything for 6 months. I have an advisory committee. They're going to come back to us in 6 months. So that means for 6 months, you're probably not going to get arrested buying your cup of coffee, which was a concern under the Biden administration. Right? And Trump wants to put tariffs on everything and anything, but unless he wants to destroy the US economy, he has to compensate for the increased prices of goods and services from other countries by lowering your taxes. So I think everyone is waiting for how he's going to change the tax code. And I'm hoping he drops, the capital gains from maybe 20% to 10%, or maybe eliminate it on crypto altogether. There's talks about bringing this, I think it's called 1031, where you can convert your real estate into Bitcoin or vice versa without any tax liability. That would be nice. So I think Trump is going to do some kind of a tax lowering. We just got to wait and see on what he's actually going to announce. So I think there is enough bullishness out there. It doesn't look like he wants to nor will end any of the wars. But we'll see. Maybe he'll surprise me. That's pretty much it. I don't have much else to add. Oil prices are not dropping. He wants to crash the price of oil because he thinks that's going to hurt Russia. He's wrong, but he's not even able to do it. Oil prices have been steady, and they're staying in the 70s. I am going to be curious if they're going to keep buying oil through Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And I remain bullish on gold, but gold dropped a little bit this morning as well, along with the stock market. So the stock market had a big correction here. You can see the S&P had a big crash. As Matt explained to me this morning, people learned that Chinese are very good at math and science and AI. I don't know why anyone's surprised that a Chinese version of AI costs like, I don't know, 90% cheaper than the US version. And they can do everything better in English than Americans can do it. And that's because people, as I told Matt, people underestimate 2 things about China. One is they think China is a communist country, and it's not. It's a capitalist country. They just have a different governance model, how they select their leaders. But as far as, a Chinese citizen profiting from their, genius idea, that exists in China. No different than in America. It's very similar. It's a lot more similar than people think it is. And people underestimate that. They underestimate the fact that you can be rich through a capitalist Chinese system, and which is weird that they underestimate that, right? Because there is so many billionaires in China from running their companies, and you can say that those companies are state-owned, but how is that different than the U.S. government telling Facebook what to censor and what not to censor? It's the same exact thing. Or which spy technology to put into Google phones, like they do in China, right? Again, there's no difference there at all. And the other thing that Americans underestimate is that China graduates more than 10x stem cell graduates, so math PhDs, physics PhDs, a field that actually comes with innovation, not, art and science and literature, but like the actual technological innovation fields. China graduates 10 to 20 times more people in those PhD fields of math and science, STEMs. So no one should be surprised that China can do AI better than the United States. It's actually the trend is actually super scary.
Well,
And yeah, so yeah, go
nobody
ahead.
should be surprised. Nobody should be surprised that China can copy it, at least. Innovate. I have questions about China's ability to innovate, but China's ability to copy at cheaper prices, no one should be surprised by that.
And copy to the point of as good.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's right.
Uh, as good or better, right? So you can copy something and make it better. Like, for example, I think it's going to be about 1,000 years before the United States gets a high-speed train. And China is building them all over Southeast Asia unless the US sabotages the project.
They should.
All right. So that's where we are. So initial crash in the morning, looks like the markets are recovering and Bitcoin is recovering. Once again, proving that Bitcoin is completely correlated to the US stock market. So if Trump's goal is to raise the stock market, he's going to raise Bitcoin by default.
All right, brother. That's a
All right.
pretty good overview of a Monday show.
And
Uh,
we're going to leave it there.
Look, I love the idea of us having just had a correction and in a spooked market because of deep seek, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not carrying my trade unguarded overnight, that's for sure.
All right. Close this out.
Thanks for joining, guys. Happy Monday. I'm sorry if anyone's lost any money on this crash, but we'll get it back. Bitcoin's still strong long term. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Bitcoin had a horrible crash, like a mini, not just Bitcoin in isolation, as Tone always points out, but like I don't want to speculate, but there's something bad coming, and then the money printer gets turned back on, and then we recover. So I can see that happening. I can see that happening, but that's not we. I don't make predictions. We'll just see how it goes. Have a lovely day, and we'll see you for the Tuesday show. Thanks for watching, as always.
Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.